So I'm getting ready to put some landscape fabric down here. I have a bunch of rows of Sharon planted here, and eventually I want to have this be a hedge. And so I went out, got some landscape fabric. I need to even up this little terrace here and put down some decorative bark on top. But then as I'm doing this, I notice this thing right here, that mound of dirt. And tell you, I'm not happy about that mound of dirt, because that tells me I got a gopher. And it doesn't take much for a gopher to build a tunnel up here to where my Rose of Sharon is. And they are the smartest little critters. They can go from one plant to the next plant, to the next plant, to the next plant. They can tunnel right under each one, eating the roots, destroying the plants, and making me lose my investment. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do a quick little lesson on what to do with gophers. So if you take a look at this mound, and this is pretty much a dead giveaway because this is a sloping hillside, but more than likely the little gopher came up right up here and dug a hole up to the surface during the night, and then they end up kicking all the dirt down this hill. So it kind of looks like a teardrop. Some people call it a horseshoe, but if you look at the top of this, this is basically where I need to dig down and find two intersecting tunnels. So I'll probably dig about an 24-inch hole there and go down deep enough until I can find both tunnels. And then once I do, we're going to put these little critters inside the tunnels to take care of the gopher. So let the digging begin. Now I have my gopher traps on a wire. You really don't want to use a string because gophers can bite through strings, but this is about a 16 gauge wire. It's going to make it hard for them to bite through. When I first purchased these traps, it took me a long time to figure out how to set these things because they're kind of different. So hopefully you won't run into the same thing. So this is the trip plate right here, this thing that's moving, that goes back and forth. On top of the trap you'll have this little spring plate here. Okay, actually this one's a little bit bent. Let me show you over on here. So you have the trigger plate right here, and then you have this U-shaped wire that's sticking up like that. So put that in the upward position, and then with your thumb push this whole assembly down just like that. Okay, while you're holding that down, you want to move this U shape, you want to fold it towards the trigger plate. Okay, and while you're holding it there, underneath the trigger plate are this little notch here, and those are going to go right over these two little wires there, just like that. So when the gopher comes, and so the gopher will actually come this direction, and his nose or his head will hit that, and when he does, well, this will come up and these two barbs will girdle him right around the midsection. And a lot of times they'll retreat back into their tunnel. But if you have, I mean, you can stake these to a stake or something. I usually don't because I haven't lost a trap yet. Usually this one will be pulled out of the adjoining tunnel and will usually stop the gopher from pulling it all the way back inside. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and set this again with this U thing set, pointing towards the sky. I'm going to push down on that, fold that over, and go ahead and cock it. And then we're going to put it right up inside. So I hit the side and I just triggered it. I'm going to have to clean this out a little bit, and I tell you, if you really want a creepy feeling, is putting your hand up inside this tunnel to clean it out, thinking and being paranoid that a gopher is going to come down and nibble your fingers. Haven't had that happen. I've had a gopher stick his nose out at me once, scared the living life out of me. So I'm going to put the camera down for a second, and I'm going to go ahead and set the trap. Okay, so I have the trap. I don't know if you can see it, maybe too dark, but I have the trap back in there. And gophers are very sensitive to light and air movement. So what I have this big planter pot, so to speak, that I'll put right over the hole I dug. And then I'll go ahead and fill up the edges around it to kind of cut back the light. Gophers are kind of cagey. If they see the light, they get suspicious, so you want to get rid of as much light as possible. So I'll pack dirt around this, and I'll come back probably tomorrow morning and see if I got a gopher. Had some heavy rains last night, and it filled in much of my hole here. Here's one trap, and the other trap is right in here with Mr. Gopher. Now, I'm not big into, killing animals. All animals have a purpose, but in this case, this gopher would have destroyed and was headed towards my newly planted rows of Sharon box there. And I guess it was either the Rose of Sharon or the gophers, and unfortunately it was the gopher. So I'll dispose of this guy, and I'm going to leave the the tunnel open to see if there's anything else in there. If I come back tomorrow and I find that tunnel sealed, that means there's another gopher inside, and I'll have to dispatch that one as well. So anyway, that's just one of the ways to take care of the gophers. One thing I will do, however, if that tunnel still remains open for the next couple of days, I'll put some gopher bait up inside, and I'll seal the tunnel just in case in the future another gopher stumbles upon the tunnel. There'll be some bait inside the tunnel waiting for him. But anyway, that's how you catch a gopher. Please subscribe, and I'll send you another video.